Looks like Jared's here, and I'm here. Jared's here. First thing is the approval of the minutes from last time.
Make a motion to approve the minutes.
Second, got a motion and a second to approve the minutes. All in favor, say reports.
Should have James report, I believe,
Shane.
accomplishment for 1 year.
It's like more esoteric than ever. Shane needs to come in here and explain to me what this means. It's right there. Right. Oh. Okay.
I know he said that it, I think it's run through the county, like he calls over to the county and make, better software keeps track of it.
Hey, there's something going around on Facebook yesterday about somebody in the morning, like looking at somebody's car. Shane, know about that?
I seen that, I sure down there, but
Was it you, Shane?
there's a lot of shit.
Oh, I make a motion to accept the marshal report.
Second.
Got a motion and a second to accept the marshal report. All in favor, say aye.
Aye. Bronchi.
Right. Yes, Keith?
Okay. Reason for my coming is to make sure you are aware as of the end of July, James is no longer our executive director. Hopefully, I think an email was sent to you, Karen, about that. The article appeared in the comments saying we're in search of a new director. So we're in the process of trying to backfill with some type of temporary director like we did before we selected James to keep everything going. So our intent is to try to maintain stuff best we can until we get a new executive director.
Do you have any say about who gets hired for that position?
Me? Typically not. What ends up happening is what happened last. The executive committee, which is the president, vice president, secretary, and treasurer of the organization, they do all the pre-screening, and then they come with us with a recommendation. I said no, but yes, I really do. So ultimately, they review that with the board, and then the board votes.
Okay, just keep it on the record. I was not happy with the background of James Wells that they chose. And so as you guys represent us, and Jared, you correct me if I'm wrong, but we don't want like a Democrat activist from Indianapolis being our city director.
I understand, but you have to be careful with employment there. You can't discriminate. And I don't mean white, black, I mean because of political parties and some of that other stuff.
Well, I just want you to know, because you represent us.
That's right. I
Okay,
do.
so that's what we want.
Right. What, we as an organization were less than happy with, James' performance.
But listen, you are our representative. You're not part of them. You're part of us.
That's
You're
right.
representing us to them. So that's what I want you to understand.
Yeah, I
That
understand.
we want, that's what we want, okay? I don't care what they want. That's what we want.
Understood. I just have to make sure that whatever we're talking about is not contrary to public law. We can't break any laws. That's bottom line.
Okay, I don't think that there's any laws being broken in this. We're representing a certain constituency here.
Yeah.
And that's what we want our EDC to represent too.
I understand.
We don't want whoever's in charge that it feels like there's a agenda with some of the people that are controlling that and they have their own ideas. I just want to make sure that you are representing
Yes.
our interests.
Now, obviously, I'm just one of 12 votes. Now, there are 2 other members you have appointed. You need to also convey to them your feelings. Now, in the meantime, we had come before the board before. We talked about the wastewater system and trying to get, loans for doing some development and whatnot. In the short term, I would really like some feedback is how serious are you at this point in time of pursuing upgrading the wastewater system so you can have more houses or whatever? Because as I see the situation, Burlington is in the near future, the next decade. We're not going to get a manufacturing company coming. We are not, best we're going to do is get some retail. I personally believe the thrust should be is what can we do to attract off-site workers to our area? People that would enjoy country living. They have high-paying jobs because most of those off-site jobs pay fairly good, but they're not going to come if they don't have houses. You're not going to get them there. And the other thing is, I've sat through a couple seminars, is what you're doing, and you're talking about the budget and whatnot. The state controls your levy. It doesn't make any difference what happens there. The levy is froze by the state. All that happens is a little play of the game of what is my current tax rate. It goes up, goes down a little bit. The kind of the workaround is because that area which we identified before is a rural TIF area. What we can do is potentially, and we have to be careful how it's done, is that if we get housing out there, there is an increase in the value. That increase goes into the TIF margin, and if it's so worded that we could possibly give money back to your board, which does not fall under the tax levy, so that you can do more things with more money. So that's the alternative. I know I've looked an article about TIFs, and I know they're going to be pushing for housing and whatnot, but my current belief is Burlington's best path forward is somehow, what can we do to attract remote workers? But to do that, we have to have housing. We got school, Carroll there, and we have some, local stuff that, we're looking for the people that truly want rural. And that's kind of the trend is get away from the big, but they do want some of the amenities. We have a park out there. We have some things that are attractive.
Is this your own opinion?
That's my own opinion.
It's not had nothing to do with the EDC.
EDC would push it. I could push it at the EDC. Again, that's what economic development is. It's what do we do? I personally would like to see the EDC start to concentrate on what we can do to bring remote site workers to the county. And in particular, I think it benefits communities such as Burlington more than it would Delta.
When you say remote site workers, do you mean like people that work in Kokomo?
No, I mean like people, I work for, let's say Amazon, but I sit in my house and I work on my computer all day. We've got the broadband internet coming around, so they have a high-speed internet. We have parks, we have other things, and they make good money. That's what a remote site worker is.
So somebody who works from their house, but doesn't matter where they're.
Right, they're working for a company that's based in New Jersey, let's say. They don't have to be on site. So since they're working from this location, their income tax, all that falls under our jurisdiction.
Sure. Well, I'm in favor of more, of us having more houses. Oh, yeah.
And the first step is, we have this tip area out here. I know there's like four lots plotted along the Cutler Road there. We need to understand, do we really have a limitation on the present lagoon system? Yes or no? And we need professional engineering to tell us that. If it is, what options do we have? Again, we need professional help. Now, we were in the process, and there are several programs that make grant money available and matching fund money available to communities under 5,000, communities that are under 2,500. We qualify for both. So it isn't like out of your budget of whatever, 100% of the funds have to come.
That's all good and well, but I really do want to hammer down on this thing about James though, because I think as far as I'm concerned, how much longer do we have on the contract with EDC?
I think it comes up,
Wasn't prepared for that.
I think it comes up to.
Because there's been, as far as I'm concerned, that was a huge breach of trust with us, because this county, he did not, like his views and stuff that where he comes from does not reflect this county at all.
Mm-hmm.
And so I met with multiple people about this just to see like what happened with that, why they made that choice. And I was never given a clear answer about that.
Well,
It just came down to like, well, nobody will do it. Like that's what everybody said. Nobody else will do it. I find that hard to believe.
it came down to, there were three applicants that were kind of finalized on. James and two others. Looking at their resumes and whatnot, his resume was a more diverse background than the other two.
So what? Like what? I don't understand. Why does that matter at all? Like that he's not, we don't have a diverse background here.
No. I mean, diverse there. He had been in housing, he'd been in other type things, not because he geographically been different. He'd been with Indianapolis with the housing, he goes on the mayor's board for whatever in there. So he had a larger diversification of background compared to the other two. Now, we can only pick from what the people that apply. And if you know of anyone that you believe would be a good candidate, I know in the town article, there was a phone number. If not, you can send the application over to Shannon. And
Well, it's fine, but what I want you to take back to them is that if that happens again, we will terminate our contract with the EDC. If they do something like that.
Yeah.
And think that it's no big deal that they did that, we'll terminate it, because we don't want to support the type of ideas or the type of direction that will lead. It doesn't conform with the values of this county, doesn't conform with the values of this town.
Mhm.
And so they need to understand that. I don't know who's making decisions up there, but.
Well, it ends up with the board, and you have 3 votes on the board. Myself and the 2 other individuals you've appointed.
So we don't have a lot of money,
No,
but that's why our money's important, and I don't want that money going to something that I feel like is working against the interests of the constituency.
Right, one of the areas that, I should say, another area that we've talked about, see, I'm pushing for this remote workers for the 2027. It was not in one of our main goals for this year. But, you know, one of the big pushes is what can we do for the agricultural community? Because let's face it, Carroll County is very agricultural, you know, and it was said, oh, well, we really want to push agriculture, bring in economic development through agriculture. Well, agriculture is a huge thing. It's all the way from like Indiana Packers there. It's cold storage, it's petrochemicals for the farmers, it's food processors. There's a lot of irons in the fire for agriculture. What are we concentrating on? What do we want? What is the strong point for Carroll County that we can attract somebody in the agriculture community?
Yeah, no, I like that. I think that's good. It's maybe when you get somebody who, that's their thing.
You know, I went up to a seminar up at Fair Oaks. So Fair Oaks, you know, that big milk processing. They were focusing on agriculture. Well, they again, and that's lessons learned from them, bringing back, is that, oh, it was general. Well, they started looking at milk. Well, what's happening is the milk was being, you know, from the farm, they had like 4 tankers a day going out somewhere else to be processed. Why? Why not? Why can't we get a processor in county, in their case, in county, to enjoy the added revenue?
Sure.
So they learned, okay, they figured out what they needed to concentrate on was milk products. We need to do the same for here. I know we have a lot of hog production. Indiana Packers is a great supporter of the county, but there's got to be some other stuff we can do. And we need to start investigating.
Yeah, I think that's all great. And it's just like, we just need to work together.
Oh,
But
yeah.
that trust has to be there, like that there's not some other interests that are trying to do what they're gonna do in our county. And that's what it feels like to me right now and a lot of other people that I've talked with. And so we just need to, it's not just our EDC, it's like the state EDC and other things too. We just need to make sure that we're working towards goals that our people want to be achieved, you know, not that, and I mean like the greater mass of our people, not like 1 or 2 rich people in the county.
But generically, housing is one of the biggest issues with the state. And the reason it's one of the big issues because the lack of housing is what drives up housing costs. If you have more available, the contractors have to become more competitive. It helps keep the cost of new housing reasonable.
So your original question was how serious are we on upgrading the sewage system?
Yeah,
How so? We don't have a quote or anything.
First step is we have to have an engineering study to know what we have. Is it acceptable? We put in a dozen new homes or what? We have to understand that. And that's the first step. And that's the one we were talking about getting grant money, matching funds, or whatever, to do those type of engineering studies. That's your first step. You know, without that, you're not going to get to the next step because the state's not going to give you or anybody else is going to give you money if you don't have a plan.
How much does something like that cost?
I was told that the engineering study like 30K. How much we can get from, because there's a, like I said, there's various state programs that will help you fund it. Grants and matching funds.
Help us fund the engineering study? Or
Yeah,
just the whole
engineering fund, engineering study, and then once you get there, then it goes to the next. Flora just got out of a 20-year ban. And they had, they got quite a bit of funding from the state to be able to do that.
Okay.
Now, they're at the end of that pipeline because they're expanding their sewer system. But it all had to start with an engineering study of what do we need to do.
Is there somebody over at Flora, like who would we know about that whole process where they got the grant and everything?
The EDC worked with all them to do that. So the expertise are somewhere on the board of the EDC.
Okay. All right, well, it's something we can look at and talk about maybe in the future. We spent a lot of time on this. I do think that it would be good for us at some point to upgrade the sewer system so we can get some more houses.
Yeah, and it's going to be a matter of timing. I know right now you're going to be in the throes of budget and all that, so your focus is going to be there. So maybe once that gets passed, and hopefully we have at least a temporary economic director appointed, we could sit down and have some serious talks about what funding's available from what organizations, how do we want to go forward.
And just again, it will depend on who you guys hire, whether we have that conversation or not. Because if it is another person like that has that value system, I'm not sitting down to talk with those people. So just let them know that. I know it's not up to you, but I just think maybe last time it wasn't communicated. Maybe that we didn't want something like that, and just want it to be clear.
Okay.
Okay. All right. Thanks, Keith. Okay. The copier. Let's go to the quote for a copier.
Yeah, so I've gotten a few quotes, Cardinal and then Beckley's. The Cardinal ones are a little bit older quotes, but I tried to ask some questions and they never contacted me back. We've worked with Beckley's for years and they're great people to work with. So I was asking, because the printer's copier we have now is from 2015. So when it has a problem, they're having a harder time getting parts for it. And so this would be to replace the current unit with a trade-in discount. Total cost would be $3,000. It's black and white, but only rarely do we need to print color or something. I use highlighter, like if we need to do that. And then this should have a fax and scanner capabilities as well. So
that would cost $3,000 up front. We own the copier. Is
that
right?
would be us owning.
Okay.
Not leasing, and then we would have a maintenance contract, which we have now. But the cost would be 1 cent per copy. I think right now we're paying about 9 cents a copy. It's not up.
When it says full coverage, does that mean, so we pay 1 cent per copy and then they just come fix it whenever it breaks?
Right, what we have now is if we need new toner or if there's a problem, unless it's something extenuating, and then I'd let you know. But the whole time we've had it, we've had this contract and then they've done things if we've needed to do it.
Okay, do you feel good about it?
I do, like I said, we've used Beckley's since I've been here and they have been wonderful to work with. And so my request is to get the new unit, but then also get the contract, the maintenance agreement like we have now.
I make a motion that we get this copier.
Second.
Motion second to get the copier. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Ordinance codification.
Did you get a chance to look over anything?
I was looking at it, but it looks like $1,500 to,
Well, this is a shall, we've needed to do this for years. It's a shall in the law, I don't know if you guys read that law.
it's a shall, so we have to do it, is that what you're saying?
It's a shall. And, the one quote I got was taking every last ordinance the town has and then formulating it. And you can see on that second quote, it was like $10,000. So American Legal Publishing works with AIM and to help the smaller municipalities because they know that's an astronomical cost for us. And so it incorporates state code, and then it says like up to 30 pages to add like specific ordinances the town would have.
So
I'm not 100%, I'm estimating high end 3,000, I'm not 100% on that.
3,000 for this?
Yes. And
What's this? Is this something else?
yeah, that's the second quote I got. And that was from last year.
It's for the same thing?
Yes, and that was
Okay.
$10,000.
That's a
on that
no-brainer.
one. Yeah, and so, and this would be, so it would not be online. A lot of cities and towns have this online, but that costs more money. This would actually be paper copies we have here in the office. But it's, in my mind, it's fulfilling the requirements of the law that is, you know. And then, it talks about, where's this at? It says underneath, it says, we understand, let's see. There could be an approximate $250 charge per year for updated copies.
Is Justin on the phone right now?
Justin, are you there? Hello?
I'm here.
Oh, okay.
Justin, do you know anything about this? Like, when do we have to have this done by?
Should have been done already.
Oh,
It should have been done.
okay.
If you wanna, I mean, if you wanna think about it, we can come back to it, I mean, but, I wanted to, I emailed some information, but it is a shall in the law. And I thought if we could do it out of this year's budget.
How do they, so we're supposed to do this a long time ago, and they have no idea we haven't done it? Okay.
But when I was at the conference, I was talking, you know, they have vendor booths, and I was talking to some people and spoke to this gentleman and, got this information.
So what it's saying is that it wants us to pay to put our own ordinances into a database so everyone can look at them. Is that right?
Yes, it's organizing it in a certain way, I mean, that you have Indiana Basic Code included in it.
So the law says that we have to pay to put our ordinances into a database that everybody can look at. But they didn't provide any funding for that?
There are many laws, just like the live streaming law, we had to pay to get things to implement so we could, follow the law. It's pretty common, just like for next year.
I don't like that at all.
For our website, we have to be able to have PDFs that are handicap accessible, so that's gonna be a cost.
We have to have PDFs that are handicap accessible? What does that look like? Like in Braille or something?
That means if somebody has a disability and they're on the website, they can have the PDF read to them. So we have PDFs of our minutes online. And so if somebody has a disability, I mean, the website has to be handicap accessible for the ADA law.
So if we're gonna go in and do that next year, so, I mean, I guess kind of looking at this, if we spend 3,000 now to have the paper copies, then next year we're gonna spend another, whatever it is, to be able to make it all online, PDF, that sort of thing.
This does not have to go online. This codification, there's no requirement for it to go online.
Right, but or are you saying just for our minutes and stuff for next year, just the PDF?
Right, I'm just saying, his remark was that, you know, well, they have this law, but we have to pay in order to comply with the law. I was just giving another example
Oh, okay.
of something else that is in that same scenario.
It's just like, if they passed a law that says we have to give health insurance to everybody in this town, but then they don't give us any money to pay for it. It's just like the same thing, except it's way less money. Yeah. These are for the exact same thing though, right?
Correct.
Okay, so we don't want to do that one, for sure.
And like I said, if you want to take it and look at it and review it for next month, that's fine. There's no decision has to be made
What do you want to do?
tonight on it. If you wanted to process it and think about it.
I'll make a motion that we table it till next month.
Second. Okay, all fair say aye.
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 Finish right on stuff. But don't worry, there's more coming, so.
Discussion of changes in law and policy for hours worked. Is there a page for that, or is that just gonna be a talk?
That's a talk. I did send an email
okay,
out.
hang on, if not.
Did you have, you found my other?
And this one right here, that has volunteer fire department to talk?
Yeah, so there's two different things here, and I tried to print my email out so I could reference it. And then Justin's on the phone. The first one, if I can go the first one before we go to the fire round, if I could go to the first one. So State Board of Accounts has an update to their compliance manual, and this was emailed to you guys, so you should have it. It says the town must have a policy in place covering all employees paid with public funds, regardless of FLSA status or salary status. The policy must identify the process by which employees report their hours, including the form used and where time records will be stored. And this is where I have an asterisk. An individual knowledgeable of hours worked must approve the records. This was on Tuesday, no, I sent this to Justin today. He was available.
Okay, could that be you? Or does it have to be like Kevin?
So here's the thing, right now I make up Excel sheets and everybody fills out an Excel sheet for their time worked. So for, at the park, you know, Mike Mann's the superintendent, the guys that work for him, he signs their timesheets. That's not an issue. The issue comes in for your department heads. Because you've got Shane as a department head, you've got Mike Mann as a department head, and you've got Steve Stout as a department head. Who approves their timesheets? Because it's supposed to be somebody knowledgeable of when they are working.
It would be you.
Well, however, I don't know when Mike's working, when Mike's not working.
So you're saying that you don't feel comfortable saying he did work that?
Right,
You don't know.
Shane is here sometimes before I'm here, so I don't know exactly when he came in. You
So
know,
we'd have
Steve-
to-
Just make them come in here and clock in or something.
Well, then we would have to get a timekeeping system if we did that, which would cost money.
Okay.
So I'm just letting you know.
It's a law though, right? It's a shall, you're
Well,
saying?
this is a shall per State Board of Accounts. It's not an Indiana law, but they're going to audit us according to the policy that you guys pass, or you guys,
Well, can you just make a spreadsheet and they just come in and sign out or something like that? I mean, it could be as simple as that, right?
What about an app on their phone?
Or yeah, something like that.
we'd have to pay for that. I mean, that's an additional expense, but I just
Right.
at least, and you know, I'm just, this was that last month's meeting, the conference I went to, and I wanted to bring this to your attention. That this is something that you guys are going to have something in writing, probably a resolution that will have to be drafted, and you guys will sign, and then the next time State Board of Accounts comes in to audit, they're going to audit to that policy.
Can we just put it on the agenda for next meeting to talk about that in particular? Yeah.
That's fine, I wanted to bring it up to you, and then the second one is for Justin here. There is a law, and that's why I gave that to you, and I highlighted it. if you look on the third page, it's, under 36.8.12-5, it says a unit served by a volunteer fire department shall pay directly to each active and participating member of the department clothing allowance and possible automobile allowance. So Justin, did you get my stuff I sent you today?
I did.
Okay, and then one of the questions was that we do not have a contract directly with the fire department. We have a contract with the township trustee. So the town pays the township trustee $7,000 a year to help with fire protection services. So our contract, the town's contract, is not directly with the fire department. I don't know if that makes a difference with this law, so that's what I was asking Justin.
I don't think so. I think that it's the trustee now, township trustee will have to make those payments pursuant to the law, and we continue to pay our part. And he may want more money from us as a result of this, but just like we paid for those packs, as you mentioned in your email recently. But I feel like we don't owe a direct payment to them because we don't directly contract with them. So I think we continue just to pay a set amount every year to the trustee, township trustee, and be the township would be responsible for that to comply with the new law.
Okay, all right. I was not sure about that, so that's why I wanted to ask. So,
Yeah, that's my interpretation of it. I mean, otherwise you get into some kind of argument that both entities would be liable, which I don't feel that that's true. So I think ultimately that if we get benefit through the township, being part of the township is for the fire, we work with them, pay them, and they pay the fire department out of their funds directly. So that we just, like I said, we just cut the support check each year, and then they'll be responsible for what's required under law.
okay.
Approve with that? Jerry? Okay. Thanks,
Can I-
Justin. Yeah.
Interject something I'm gonna regress just slightly on your approval process. Just a thought. You have, I think, 3 department heads that you talked about who would approve their work.
Oh, approve their timesheets?
2, how knowledgeable are each of the department heads of the other departments' functions and workings?
They're not.
If so, then you could have that department head approves a different one, and you just rotate the 3.
I don't think they're ever together. I never seen them together.
You know, it says knowledgeable, not that they're physically together, it just says knowledgeable.
Yeah.
Now, see, that could be you're out of that they are knowledgeable of the work that they've been doing. Not that they physically watch them every minute, just, it says knowledgeable.
I think I appreciate that. I think that Karen's knowledgeable about what they're doing in a certain degree, but not comfortable enough to say that they actually are doing what they, right? Is that?
Well, it's just more like the hours worked. It's, you know, hey, I worked, 4 hours today, or I worked 7 hours today, or, that's, and when I talked to State Board of Accounts, because I asked them that question at the conference, and what I got back was, no, it needs to be somebody who knows that they worked the hours that they
Yes,
say they worked.
knowledgeable, not necessarily there with them. So,
It's just like an honor, like system thing.
yeah, it's an out there. So I'm just saying that may be an out there, because department heads should understand what other department heads are doing.
Yeah, and we should talk about that when we talk about it.
Just a thought.
Okay, payroll amounts.
Make a motion to approve the payroll.
Second, motion second, all in favor say aye.
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 Thank you.
Okay, budget discussion.
Based on what I can tell, I believe our revenues will, for the most part, stay pretty steady to what they have been this year. I'm in the budget program right now that they've changed. It's a new, they've updated it. So I'm learning how that looks, trying to understand how they're formatting things now.
I think you went up on insurance.
I just got the insurance bill yesterday, so I'm still working on that.
She went way down on repairs, because we didn't spend anything.
For motor vehicle highway fund? Or
Yeah,
what?
for the motor vehicle, oh, yeah, I'm sorry, I'm just looking for your highlights, so.
Right, so my concern is the motor vehicle highway fund is, we've budgeted a lot for this year, and I think we need to back it off, at least for a year, and kind of regroup and see where we're at. As far as like doing any repairs and stuff, I had it originally budgeted at 50, I think we need to back it off.
Okay.
Just
because we don't need to do that much repairs.
Well, I don't know how Steve feels. The only thing that I think might need to be done is that culvert on Zip Lane. But I don't know how much that would cost. Steve doesn't seem to think it would cost that much, and I think we could use the cumulative capital development fund for that, because you can use that for culverts. So,
It looks like we have 99% of the money we ballot, that budget for last year left. It says that we spent $1,000
for where, I'm sorry.
on that same line item for that, for repairs and maintenance of streets and alleys. It says budget amount for 2026, $100,000, spend it through 6/30.
Right, because what we did is, when we got the grant, when we got the community crossings grant, there's a sub-fund of the motor vehicle highway fund. It's called the motor vehicle highway fund restricted funds fund. We use monies from that to go to the grant. So we ended up not using anything from the main motor vehicle highway fund.
Can I ask you something?
Yeah.
How long did you start doing this?
So,
No, I mean, this job that you're doing.
2020.
When you first came in, was it like super overwhelming?
I still get those soon.
It's just like a lot of stuff, you know? that you
There's
have
so
to
much
keep
that you have to know and learn, and there's still things that I fully don't understand, and I do the best I can do. But yeah,
Well, I think you did a good job.
thank you.
I would say that culvert, where'd you see that at?
Well, so this is just my thinking process, is that the cumulative capital development fund, that fund can be used for things like culverts. And I thought if, we needed to, we could try to utilize monies from that, possibly in addition to motor vehicle highway fund, if we needed to.
Cause I just quoted a 4-foot culvert that was 40 foot long, and it was almost 20,000 with trucking.
What does that mean, total cost, or?
Yeah, that's just a culvert with the trucking.
Yeah.
Like total costs, like brought to the job site.
Material.
That wasn't even tearing anything apart, that was sending
It's
it
just
off.
material.
That's just just the material part of it.
Well, what we can do is, if you guys decide to do anything like that next year, if you wanted to pass it as is, if we needed to do additional appropriations, which that's a process, but that could be done.
We have money saved up too, right? To do something like that without budgeting it.
We have some in this year's budget, but the way, when they do the budget, they're looking at a year and a half out, so they're looking at the last half of 26 and all of 27. Well, what they're doing is, because we've budgeted some money, we've budgeted money, and whatever leftover money is in 26, they're assuming we're gonna spend it, even though we may not. So then, when they do the budget, then it acts like, oh, well, you're gonna spend every penny, and you're gonna spend every penny of what you're budgeting next year. So it kind of gets to be a little game you have to play there, to make sure that you've got the money that you need available.
Do we need to talk about like salaries and stuff to get in this? Because that's not gonna be a real number unless we know exactly what it is. Right?
That's another discussion, yes. So I went ahead, Shane had asked for that pay increase, and I went ahead and plugged those new numbers in to this paperwork. But I did not touch anybody else's.
Okay.
So I guess here's where I'm at. Friday is my meeting with the Department of Local Government Finance person. There's still time to tweak numbers, but September, the second week of September is our public hearing. And what you guys are wanting to do has to be advertised at least 10 calendar days. So I'm pretty sure it's August 28th that it has to be published, what we're wanting to do. So that's like, that's cutoff time.
So Shane asked for 5%.
Mm-hmm.
Why don't we just do 5% across the board? Are you comfortable with that?
Yeah, if the funds are there. And
Do we have the funds for that?
I was going to suggest a 3 at the most.
At the most?
That was gonna be mine.
Again, this is budget, so you can say 5, the state will come back and cut you whatever, you may have, and that's not saying you're gonna award 5, it's just your budgeting that.
Mm-hmm.
I just want to look to see what CPI is this year.
Yeah, I think we can do that, yes. The gist is, there's a, I don't know what I did with it.
Let's see.
There's $105,000 of property taxes that have to be split between 3 funds. 105,000. That's not, I mean, for property taxes. Right now, we're staying steady on that. Over 7,000 goes to the Cume Fire. That means you have to split the other 2 between the general and the motor vehicle highway. Now, we have a lot of local income taxes right now, because that's still in play. So I'm looking at all of that, and, how best do you split between funds that need money with not a lot there.
What did we do last year, do you remember? Was it 5 or?
I thought,
I think, didn't we do like more than 5?
I thought you did 3, but I don't know, I don't remember fully. I don't think it was 5. For some reason, I just don't think it was 5.
Can you look up on your phone here and see if I haven't noticed a signal, see what the CPI inflation is for 2026?
It's 3.5%, they just had that in the news.
Is that right?
Yep.
I thought it's,
Yeah,
I don't want to do less than the CPI.
What is the current rate of inflation for August this year versus August last year?
3.5% year over year through June of
That's
2026.
what I heard on news.
Okay, so how about we do 4% then? I mean, why, could we do 5%?
In your budgeting, not that you will issue it.
What do you think?
I mean, I know the cost of living is going up
5%?
for budgeting. I mean,
I will put it in there, and then, when I meet with the DLG rep, if they have any concerns, they'll let me know.
Okay.
They'll come back and tell you if you can't do it.
Well, really, they'll let you do what they call a zero budget. If you spent every dollar you had, they're not gonna say anything. If you go below, but you know, that's where I'm trying to watch things. You know, I'm trying to,
I mean, you know that obviously the numbers and all that, I mean, what's your take on the? She
I
said,
think we're okay right now, but my concern is obviously in the future. You
Yeah,
know,
well, in the future,
and then
well,
we're
when
gonna
they-
have to cut
right,
when that time comes, you know, if we're gonna have to make cuts and drastic cuts and where those drastic cuts are gonna be.
and we can just come and tell everybody and say, look, guys, you know, we did whatever we could while we could, and now it's just, we have to do, you know, but then it's, we're trying to take care of people and that sort of thing, you know, if that happens in a real negative, then it's like, well, we just gotta do what we gotta do.
Just being very fair.
I mean, and just like, you know, just for what I can see here, just because there's some of the stuff that I, you know, do. When there's like an earmark here on snow removal per se, so is that to clear all of the town streets?
That is,
Or is it just like a budget number within?
right, so some of these are padded numbers.
Okay.
So they're in case, for instance, Steve Stout clears the streets. If for some reason he's not available or something happens and he can't do it, there's a little bit budgeted, so if we have to contract with somebody to help us one time,
Gotcha.
that's what that's there, it's there for padding.
Okay.
And there are several appropriations where, you know, we don't really use. The other thing I will say, I wanna bring your attention to is next year's an election year. I have zero idea to know how much an election will cost, because we've not had an election since before I came into office. And I've asked the clerk and she said, well, you have to go back to your last election.
Election, what do you mean, like for
municipal, so for next year, there will be a municipal election.
right,
So if there are people running and there's more than the positions available that are running, we're gonna have to hold an election. And for us to do it, I wouldn't even, we would have to contract with the county and ask the county. We can, not for next year, but we can work to put ourselves with the regular election schedules. If you guys wanted to move to do that, then there would never be an election cost, because it would be conducted with the other elections. The legislature has talked about mandating that, but they have not done it.
there hasn't been an election since 2012?
Before that. Or
I-
no,
I
2012,
mean-
2011, when I came into office. I don't know if they held an election that year or not, because nobody's run contested. If nobody runs contested, there's not been an election.
Well, I am going to put my name on the thing to run, just because I don't understand that other thing. That you're saying, I can't believe that that's real. That-
Well, they're just saying municipal election, not a national or state.
Oh, I know, but nobody's ran for, I'm the only one that ran for office in the last 20 years.
Well, I just mean, like, in other words, 3 council members and 1 clerk treasurer. So if you had 4 people running for council, you're gonna have to have an election. If you have 2
Yeah.
people running for clerk treasurer, you're gonna have to have an election.
Bottom line, your job is not highly desirable.
I guess, like, people don't wanna come in here and,
So who's up next year for
All of us.
all of us?
All of us.
well, I mean, how do we find out how much that is?
Well, I talked to Camden. Camden's had elections. It was less than 7,000, but I thought, since I don't know, what number did I put in there? I didn't find it. Can you see it in here? I know it's in there. Oh, okay. I have 6, no. I have 7,000. I'm just aiming a little higher than what Camden said.
Surely that's enough.
I hope so.
If you just do all paper ballots, don't run the machine, probably.
Yeah, you gotta come in here and,
It would be in here.
No, it'd be community building.
But we would use their equipment. I mean, they would be overseeing the election. Because when they did a whole thing on that too at the conference. my opinion, we do not want to go anywhere near conducting our own election. And the headache that will be. It's better to pay the county to do it. So I just wanted to bring that to your attention. So I guess my question is then for Friday, you want me to change everybody's salaries to a 5%, correct? But then how do you want me to handle all the rest of this stuff? Just keep it as is?
So that would
And
probably,
I'm sorry,
just the salary part, so Shane's salary went up,
Shane's already is included.
so it's about $3,000.
Yeah.
And that's the biggest one. So then the rest of them together would maybe be another 3,000?
It depends. I mean, you get paid part out of town and part out of the general fund and part out of the sewage. So the portion out of the, general fund is what your 5% would go up.
But yeah, I think it's fine. It's just like a mark. It's just gonna marginally increase the final number. Okay. I think everything else looks good to me. And it looks like, at least on the first page, you went down on most stuff. But apparently you went up on something. Well, it's good, just the salary, maybe.
Well, when I go up in salaries, that affects perf, it affects your Medicare and FICA taxes, it affects that.
Okay. Yeah, it's
trying to-
relatively close.
Yeah.
to last year. Okay, so is that, are you good with that? Or do we need to make a motion or anything for you, or you're good?
No, I think we need to make a motion just as long as I have a consensus that that's what you guys are wanting me to do, or, yeah.
Is there anything, any other business? Make a motion, we adjourn.
Second.
Motion, second to adjourn, all in favor, say aye.